Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aceikith Gaming with the end of year review for 2022. So obviously this has been a little bit of a long time coming. I am recording this on the 30th December, ready to go out on New Year's Eve. If you are watching this just before, or maybe even you are already into the New Year's, this will come out about a couple of hours before the New Year. I do hope you're having a happy New Year first of all, and also having a great Christmas as well. So let's talk about 2022 and maybe a little bit about 2021 as well, because obviously a little bit of 2021 does reflect into 2022 as far as I personally am concerned. So obviously 2021 was a bit of a big year, obviously returning to work and going into a new job soon after that, because obviously I was recovering from kidney stones. 2022 was basically the build up from 2021, and basically just trying to get myself into a routine, which obviously has been a lot of big changes throughout the year. So first of all, the YouTube videos during the course of the year. We started off doing YouTube videos at the beginning of the year, and they were going reasonably well, sometimes coming away from it, taking a bit of a break from during the points of the year, and going back into it once I had a new plan in place to see if something new worked. Something that a lot of very small YouTubers that do care about growing do plan to do. That then soon became early morning streams on Twitch because of my availability with work. I realised that actually I could be streaming for a few hours most days of the week before I even started working. This was back when I was a delivery driver. For those of you that are newer to the channel, obviously welcome to anybody that is newer to the channel. Within the last couple of months, we have had quite a few new subs. So thank you ever so much for all your support if you are one of those. At the beginning of the year, I was a delivery driver, so therefore I was waking up early in the morning, and a few hours before I would start work, I would literally be able to stream early in the morning, and that would basically be my plan. Start stream, stream for a few hours, and as soon as I finish stream, go straight to work from there, basically. So obviously this is going to be quite a big chat, by the way, as well. So I do hope you understand that. This video is more of me reflecting on the year, rather than being like, a typical YouTube video or a video for the community thing. This is more for me to be able to look back on the year that I've had. Like, I've done this before. I have with 2021 and 2020 as well. So obviously I do hope you do appreciate that and be along for the ride as well. Maybe if you are newer, you'd like to find out, who I am. And this is basically what it is as well. Is, you getting to know me as, a human being, of not just playing computer games, playing Dead by Daylight or playing League of Legends, So, but as well as that, being a very supportive person to other people as well. So let's go on to the first big thing, because obviously I have got a little bit of a list on my monitor here as well. So let's go on to Twitch first of all, because I think Twitch has possibly been, quite a big routine thing for me, especially in the last few months. So our average viewer coverage has actually been getting a little bit larger as towards the end of the year. That average viewer was actually quite large at the beginning of the year, like especially when we did a special occasion. We did setting up a challenge for myself, which I will talk about that a little bit later on. The viewage did get quite large. We had some great moments we did as well, and the mods have always been around. Obviously, a few of them, just to name a couple. Shiva, who's been around in the stream a little bit more regularly recently because I've been streaming later in the day, and that's typically her availability. And also Ashes Wilds, who I've known for a little while now. He's typically more available early in the day because that's when he finishes work. With him being in the States, with me being in the UK, it's not always a typical availability for him to be able to come into my stream later on in the day. Unless, like, say, for example, he's got a day off. So at the moment, I am doing 3 days a week streaming, which may increase a little bit, possibly during next year. At the beginning of the year, I was also streaming 3 days a week during my morning streams, and doing additional streams during weekends for special occasions. So like when we had special events for sim racing, which is like we've got the 24 hours a Daytona coming up towards the end of January, which is a yearly thing. Obviously the first big endurance event of the year for iRacing. Which I do most of my sim racing on, maybe even all of it, really, to be honest, because I do play a little bit of other sim racing, but not that much compared to iRacing. So obviously that's one of the big things. Although the viewer count isn't as high, because obviously I understand that most people that come to my streams nowadays don't typically do any type of sim racing themselves. They're not really interested in motorsport. But I like to always have that coverage there anyway. Which obviously I do have some people occasionally do come into streams, obviously when I'm not doing my typical Dead by Daylight streams or League of Legends streams as well. So obviously that is something that, like if obviously you do want to come along, even if you don't like motorsport or don't like sim racing, like I've obviously always been the type of person that, I'm always like to try and keep communication with my community, Like, it's not all about, the game itself that I'm playing. I like to be able to talk with our community, which obviously I can do during endurance racing because I'm not always the one driving the car. So that is something that I'd like to be able to do as well. Like, sim racing might even come back, possibly, like, as a routine thing. But I'll talk a little bit about that later on. So obviously, as you know, at the beginning of the year, I did have a follower goal of 350 follows. Originally, that was supposed to be, I believe, before the summer. And that did get pulled back because suddenly I did lose all that free time that I did once have. So when I actually had to give my notice of termination to say, look, I cannot do this job anymore because it's actually more expensive for me to stay in the job than for me to be jobless, which, it does sound very weird to a lot of people. Even I would say that is actually quite weird. But when you come to a point where you're actually paying out more money for fuel compared to actually not doing anything at all, that is how bad the fuel issue was going on over here in the UK. Like we even had a point where paying for diesel was £2 a litre, which I remember when we had our first big price hike, and that was like £1.35 plus for diesel, and we're not anywhere near that, and that was probably about 3 to 4 years ago. And that was because the government was trying and steer people away from using diesel and petrol fuel for cars, and try and steer people over to using electric cars, because obviously in a number of years that is what the UK is going to be doing. So obviously the 350 follower goal we had at the beginning of the summer, that then went to the end of this year. I can say we actually achieved that quite early this year. So the 350 follower goal that we wanted to achieve by now, we actually managed to reach that before we even hit December. So I remember just finishing stream, I went over to go and raid one of my good friends that I've known for a long time now, and regularly I may get like an extra follow or two, maybe from raiding over to him, because he has a very supportive community that loves watching smaller streamers as well, such as myself. And I actually reached my 350 follower goal as I was ending stream. I literally pressed the end stream button. I went onto his stream. I then heard I a follow alert go through as a change scene, like I do at the end of the stream. Just in that way, I had everything prepared for all the checks for the next time I would stream. I literally had a follower alert go through, and that was my 350th follower. So that was actually a little bit of a surprise. I actually said just before I ended that stream, I do believe we can hit the 350 follower goal by the end of the week. It happened literally minutes later. It did. So that was obviously a big thing. I can say now we do have another goal that I do want to try and reach, and that is to try and reach 400 followers before the beginning of the summer for 2023. So that will probably be around about June, July. I am going to be looking at June for now, and have a look at that and see if that is still possible as we close in on it. But I would like to try and obviously get to that 400 follower goal, which obviously will be a big mark at the moment. I am, at the moment of recording this video, I can see it right in front of me right now, we are sitting at 367 followers at the moment. So we only literally need another 33 followers before we hit 400 followers. So I do believe getting to 400 before the beginning of the summer is achievable. And with me obviously wanting to stream more, if we do have that availability, that is definitely making it even more possible. Another goal that I do want to try and set out is subscriber goals. Now, I'm obviously not a person that I like actively advertising and saying, oh, please subscribe to me, you get this, that and the other, because I've always been the type of person that I'd rather people spend money on what they need rather than just subbing to, to me that, if things do change all of a sudden, I'm not able to offer the same thing. But I do feel that maybe a subscriber goal might be a thing that I will start doing over the course of this year. But obviously not right at this moment. But possibly within the next few months or so, I would like to try and set a subscriber goal. So that will obviously come with time, and we'll look ahead of that in the near future, possibly. Carrying on with Twitch, with regards to streaming. So obviously a couple of years ago, just before I did officially get diagnosed with kidney stones, I was planning on doing a charity stream back in 2021. And I remember saying that I want to try and do the charity stream at some point during 2022. Obviously, after I got diagnosed with kidney stones, once I had fully recovered. That has never really been properly looked at, because I've just been that busy trying to look for work, for one thing. And on top of that, I've just been enjoying streaming so much that I've wanted to get into a new schedule and get into a regular routine with streaming as well, which has helped quite a big amount, and kind of the reason why the viewer average has gone up actually quite a bit over the course of this year, and why I've been getting more followers, and also I've been a bit more active in regards to YouTube as well, which I will talk about that in a moment. So I am planning on trying to do a charity stream at some point during next year. That is one thing I do want to do. Whether that might be like I do a stream on both days of a weekend and it will be 2 12-hour streams, or whether that will be just one stream on Saturday going through to Sunday and it will be a full 24-hour stream. I'm not going to confirm which I'm going to do just yet, because it does involve quite a lot of planning. That includes choosing the charity as well. I still need to make up my mind for that. And also I need a selection of games to be able to play during the course of the charity stream as well. So obviously with me being a very small streamer anyway, having like party games isn't necessarily always going to be possible. So I do want to select a few games that I want to be able to play alongside with Dead by Daylight as well. League of Legends is going to be another idea possibly, but I am going to put in a couple of other games along with that as well. So that will be planned possibly over the next few months or so, and we will probably be doing the charity stream at some point over the course of the summer, which we will obviously set some charity goals as well, and some charity challenges as well for myself. So some of it will be Dead by Daylight specific, some of it will be me having to do something on stream as well. So obviously that will be something that I will plan in due time. So obviously them sort of stuff, I won't announce now exactly what I'm going to be doing because I haven't thought about it to a great extent just yet. But that is something that I'm looking to do next year. Moving on to YouTube. So YouTube has actually been quite interesting. So YouTube has been something that I've been on and off with, and I'm actually quite proud with how I'm doing with it at the end of the year. So at the moment, I'm recording this right now. I've still got another short that would have come out earlier today by the time that you're seeing this, and some of the views have been actually really high because I've been doing shorts lately. And with what YouTube are looking to do during next year, it does seem like that I do feel that the YouTube channel is actually going to grow by quite a substantial amount. So I've also had the largest amount of sub gains over the course of a 365-day period compared to any other 365-day period that I've ever had since creating this channel of YouTube. So at the beginning of the year, I believe I had around 65 subs at the beginning of the year, maybe lower than that. As of me recording this video, let me just check. Let me just refresh, just in case we get any more, because we might do. So as of me recording this video right now, I've got a current subscribers at 97. We are 3 away from 100. And me remembering that I had a goal of 100 subs by the end of this year, and then going through the summer, I was very far away with it. And I was thinking to myself, this is in no way achievable. We are literally 3 away from 100 subs. And maybe if you're watching this video right now and you're new to the channel and do want to help me get to that 100 subscriber goal, it'd be ever so much appreciated being this close to it. That would be that would be a great thing for you to do. That would help me out quite a lot. But obviously, the subscriber goal, I was hoping to get to 100 subs, not even getting anywhere near it as summer began, and then suddenly getting very close to it. So I didn't even think about doing shorts at the beginning of the year. That wasn't even a goal. That wasn't even attempting it. I only started it, I believe, in October, which was it was literally nothing more than an experiment. So my first ever short that I ever did on the channel it was literally just before the summer began, and I straight away had a good amount of views on it. But not straight away subs. That came within time. That did. And when obviously I started doing YouTube videos with it, it wasn't really doing anything much different, but that will change next year, I'm pretty sure. But when I started doing shorts on a regular basis, the amount of subs changed. So like I would have some videos getting over 1,000 views. I've even got a couple that are like over 5,000 views. And this would be just mostly people just browsing through their YouTubes. And because I don't have much time, and this is why I think shorts is a great thing. And if you've not tried it, and you do YouTube content creating yourself, I would suggest now, at the moment, not doing longer videos unless you're already successful with them. Doing what I did, and actually just trying to do shorts, whether it is taking moments, like good moments from your more bigger YouTube videos, and maybe then saying, this is the link to the full video itself for them to take a look at, which is another thing that I am going to be experimenting on early this year as well. Or you can do exactly what I've been doing and basically streaming, and then I've been getting somebody to edit them. I know obviously not everybody has that availability, but I have obviously been very lucky to find a shorts editor to be able to edit everything for me. But literally taking it from my stream and editing them and then putting them as shorts onto YouTube. And that is basically how I've been able to get a most amount of these subs recently. Just basically using YouTube in a way for more exposure on YouTube, using these experimenting shorts, and it's been a big reason for this large increase in new subs. As I said, 97 subs at the moment. This is the 30th of December of me recording this. And, the goal was 100 subs. During the summer, I wasn't even anywhere near it. And suddenly I'm at 97. So, YouTube has obviously had its goals, although they've not been met. Considering where I was halfway through the year, I'd say it's still a success nevertheless. So, obviously that's Twitch and YouTube mostly talked about. Next thing is, I'd say, new equipment. Because obviously, as you can possibly tell, I've been recording with brand new equipment as of, when was it? Middle of October? Middle of October. I've got whole brand new equipment. So the reason why I started streaming was a great friend of mine, WStep, which obviously I'm going to give a personal thanks now. I have got some more personal thanks to give at the end of the video to some other streamers and content creators. But obviously my great friend Paul Stevenson, even though he's known as WStep, has obviously been a really good friend to me. He is personally the reason why I started streaming in the first place. He basically said to me, and I remember, and I quote, "Your mic is shit." I remember talking to him, and he said to me, "I need to get a brand new mic." And I don't think this, personally, was quite what he had thought about. So, for those of you that knew that I wanted to spend money on new equipment when I finally got some money in, and basically this is what a good amount of it is. So this is the Shure SM7B microphone, which has been, I believe, another reason why I've been getting more subs on YouTube recently, and why I've been getting more Twitch followers recently, is because my audio has sounded a lot better for the most part in the last few months. Because that's been where the biggest increase has been because I've had a Shure SM7B microphone with the Go XLR Mini, which I have next to me. I've had a couple of little issues with it, but I don't think it's the product that is the issue. It is a matter of that I have nowhere necessarily to sit it on. So, silly me, I put it somewhere that maybe I shouldn't be putting it. And basically, it's a couple of times, like, it actually stopped working mid-stream once before. It did actually during my last stream of the year, in fact. And I had a couple of small issues with it. So I do need to try and build something so that way it's sitting somewhere, not where it had been sitting before. On top of that, obviously the boom arm as well, which is, this is actually my second boom arm, by the way, not my first. My first one did unfortunately break just before I was supposed to start streaming one evening. I was literally 5 minutes from starting stream, and this one and the previous one broke. This one, I've personally not even had a single piece of issue ever since I bought it. But I have changed a few small things of what I do with it when I'm not using it. Because previously, it would literally sit in place on the thing that attaches to the table. The original one just would sit there. So I think over time, it was breaking. Now, I'm not actually doing that. I'm actually fully putting it away every single time I've stopped using it, which has helped, I think, quite a bit. So, obviously, I've also got the Go XLR, which, obviously, as I've said, another thing, the Elgato Stream Deck, which has been a big help to me as well. Makes a lot of things a lot easier. Not just for streaming, but also I even use it for when I'm just talking with friends on Discord. I literally have a mute button and a deafen button. So it's not just useful for streaming, but it's useful for other things as well. And a lot more things if you actually look around on the Stream Deck app to see what you can actually use for it. It's not just useful for streaming. And I even found out a couple of things that it's even useful for within iRacing as well. But obviously the main thing for it is literally streaming, but it's useful for other things as well. So, but yeah, like, in the new equipment has been a big handful, and I think, although it's not cheap, I will say, I remember a friend of mine saying to me, "Aren't you spending a lot of money when you're not really that big of a streamer at all?" And I said, well, I do need new equipment anyway, and I want to, get myself a new microphone, And there you go. It's actually helped out quite a lot. It does, which does mean, I believe, really, to be honest, a lot of people prefer to watch a streamer with actually decent equipment, and I think that's a big thing when you're in content creating. If you just got a normal microphone like this, because this is what I was using, this microphone right here. Like, it's still down like this because I can't lift it up. This is how broke the microphone is. I literally just do that, it flops right back down. I don't even need to touch it for it to go into its traditional position, because it's that old. So, but yeah, and the new equipment's helped out quite a lot. So let's move away from streaming and YouTubing and the new equipment for now, because obviously for the most part, so sim racing has been something that I have been thinking about possibly returning. Obviously, that obviously you do see me streaming the big events over the course of the year. So like the 24 Hours of Daytona, which I have coming up in January, to the 12 Hours of Sebring, which happens in March. Like we might even have a 24 Hours of Le Mans. I'm not sure if that is fully confirmed yet, but I have heard some people been saying that, yes, we are getting that this year. Obviously in 2023. So that will be something to look forward to. But whether I'm going to be streaming sim racing beyond that is questionable, because obviously that does require me to do a few things. Obviously, I have said about that I do feel uncomfortable in the seat that I would normally use for sim racing. That's not always the case, but I can never really fully trust it right now. So obviously, if I'm wanting to do streaming for sim racing, I do believe I would need to come out from that traditional chair that I would normally sit in, because I don't do sim racing at this PC. I do it on my dad's PC, because obviously his rig is on that. So if I wanted to do that, I am going to be possibly changing this room around quite a bit. So I might have a new seating position for obviously streaming, as a big thing. So that way I can do sim racing, because right now I don't have the space, but with moving stuff around, I will have the space. But it's a matter of trying to see and plan where we can put everything, because obviously everything in this room right now has to stay in this room, but with moving stuff around we can create more space. So obviously watch this space and see if we do manage to start doing sim racing on stream again, maybe YouTube as well, and then we'll obviously carry on with that. From away from me personally sim racing as well, as you know, this time last year I'd literally started up my own sim racing team. Part of that was because I wasn't sim racing as much personally myself, but I'd still like to stay active within the sim racing community, and it has allowed me to do that with the creation of obviously my own sim racing team, Quest Motorsport. So during the first year, most of it was creating brand new liveries for the cars, and that our team will be actively driving. So we've got a number of liveries for different cars. We've even got some liveries personalized for a few select drivers that loved using particular cars. One of those was for a driver that has since moved on to a bigger sim racing team that matches his experience and matches his his way of being as good. Because obviously our goal as a sim racing team is not literally to have the best sim races possible, but to coach those drivers that won't necessarily have their own sort of like team, or have a team to race for. So by coming to us, they would now have a team to be able to race with, but at the same time be coached and be able to be helped as well to become improved sim racing drivers. Because obviously with me being quite highly experienced with sim racing, I am able to help them for if they do have any issues, or if they are requiring help in different ways. So that has been another one of the goals for Quest Motorsport as a whole. This year, obviously, Quest Motorsport is now entering its second year. It didn't enter the 24 Hours of Daytona last year because we didn't quite have enough drivers at the time. I think we only had 3, so that would have been meaning that we would have had 4 drivers, including me, and not everybody was available for that weekend. So instead, what we did was me and one of my new drivers ended up teaming up with W-Step and a driver that he was coaching as well. And although it didn't end well, we at least managed to get the car on the grid. We managed to actually get through a fair few hours. I was very tired by the time that I've done my 2 opening stints that I went to bed. And we ended up, I believe, eventually retiring after many hours. I think it was like 14 hours or so. But to get as far as what we did, considering the fact that we crashed after about a few hours, I would say that was a success, because at least my own driver also got a lot of driving time in. And, he did excellent for what was actually at that time his first ever endurance event. Especially one of that magnitude. But drivers have since been very improving. 24 Hours of Nürburgring, I would say, arguably was our most successful race out of them all. We didn't have a single major crash at all, I think, until about 12 hours in. And we was leading at one point, considering how competitive our split was. And I wasn't even doing most of the driving at that point. So, we did do very, very well. It was unfortunate how it was happening during the night. But we managed to do quite a lot. So, sim racing is obviously quite, something that I would like to be able to put on a little bit more on the channel. And we'll go and see if that is possible during next year. So, Dead by Daylight has become a regular part of my stream. It's pretty much become my main game, specifically during the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 months. So I've been keeping a regular schedule. 2 days a week has been Dead by Daylight stream. So like one Survivor stream, which we call Surviving Mondays. And we also have a regular Killer stream, which is on Wednesdays. Both of them was originally 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We've now put them back to 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the afternoon, because that has been better suited for me personally as well. So that is also going to be continuing. That is, the schedule is going to be continuing. Maybe we will do some more hours, maybe, if I do feel like I can do it. March challenges was another big thing within Dead by Daylight for my community. Now, bear in mind, when we did March challenges this year, so back in 2022, if you're watching this now in 2023, because that could be the case, we actually did March challenges as a spur of the moment, and we only planned that for about 2 weeks, because I wanted to challenge myself in a special way throughout one entire month. And bearing in mind, this would be 3 days a week, streaming early in the morning. And we had quite an amusing period with it, actually, because some of them was actually quite funny. So, for those of you that are newer to the stream, you won't know the idea behind my challenges. It was basically challenge myself to an extreme, make the stream hilariously funny, and just laugh at the streamer. That was kind of the idea, but some of them actually became quite good. It did, to the point that it actually made it great to watch, I feel. And for me personally, it was great to try and do these challenges. So some of them was like playing an entire stream as the nurse. Some Survivor players may say, oh, actually, that's really easy. For me, it's not, because I don't play nurse. So, but we did entire stream as the Blight, bearing in mind during that time I was trying to practice Blight mostly at the time. So that was another challenge there. We also did Adept challenges for Survivor and Killer. We did some of them, we did manage to achieve. Some of them was very difficult, and even to this day, I've still not got them all. So that will be returning. We will be doing some Adept days. And yeah, like we even did some Survivor challenges where like we even did one where we played nothing but no Myra all stream. So like 3 hours of one perk. Oh yeah, that one perk you can use. Yeah, that's no Myra. There you go. Have fun. That was the only perk I was using for an entire stream, and it was hilarious. It really was, because when you think, oh, normally you can get a second hit. No, I can't even be afford to hit once, and that was a problem. And I couldn't even use Dead Hard because I wasn't allowed to put on any other perks. That was quite hilarious, and that will be coming back in 2023. So during the 3rd month of the year, obviously March challenges will be coming back. I will confirm that now. Depending on my availability, obviously depends on how many streams I'll be doing. but I'm going to try and do as many streams as I possibly can. So the amount of streams that I do per week may increase during the month of March, just in that way I can try and do as many March challenges as possible. So, but it's not just going to be within Dead by Daylight, it's also going to be within other games. Whether I play some League of Legends streams and do challenges through that, and other bits and pieces like that. Even some other games, maybe playing a challenging game or two. So that is kind of the idea on that. So let's move on from Dead by Daylight for a little bit. So obviously I do play other games off of stream as well. One of the main games that I do play off of stream is League of Legends. So for some of you that have come to the channel before would have known about me playing that, which has been something that I have streamed in the past as well. That might be happening possibly during next year as well, but that's not a confirmation yet. So my goal for League of Legends at the beginning of the year, trying to reach silver rank, which was a pretty interesting goal, but I did feel it was achievable, and I think I could have achieved it if I played more games than what I actually am at the moment. And I think that's the one thing that I have been lacking. So, unfortunately, we did not achieve silver rank this year. But I think part of that as well is because I was routinely switching roles, which doesn't help anybody, really, to be honest. So this has been sort of a thing that I have been doing away from streaming, is playing League of Legends off stream and just trying to find what I feel is my best role personally, and then keep to that and practice 2 specific champions. So obviously I did say about this on stream. I did about me practicing my 2 main champions. And by the way, there is going to be 2 upcoming videos coming out at the beginning of the new year. So you'll have one on the Tuesday, I believe it's the Tuesday, and then the other one will come out possibly later on in the week. So I've got 2 League of Legends videos coming out. This is basically to say what my 2 main champions are, and basically as well to start off the new year and basically start off the brand new season as well. So obviously I have been getting coaching sessions a lot as well, which has helped out a great amount. And the goal again for 2023 is going to be hitting silver, which I believe is even more possible this year compared to last year, because now I have not just a goal set, but I do have a lot more momentum going for myself, and I know I'm a lot more experienced of knowing what I need to do. I'm not just playing the game simply just for enjoyment, although obviously that's the primary thing, but also I've been able to understand a lot more of what I'm supposed to do in it. So silver rank is possibly going to be achieved by the end of the summer if I feel like I can do that. Maybe even gold, possibly if it becomes my main game for next year. So League of Legends might become my main game, but obviously it's a matter of how I feel with it. Because Dead by Daylight has been great for streaming. It has, I do feel like I am mostly a casual playing person, and I like to keep it that way, but I am a competitive person as well, and you notice that possibly when I'm playing Killer on Dead by Daylight. It's that I can become a competitive person, but obviously League of Legends is still a fun game, but I'd like to try and become even better with it. So, but yeah, like League of Legends is to me a lot of fun. It has. So and by the way, the main role that I am going to be choosing, just to confirm, is going to be top lane for next season. And obviously you'll see a couple of videos within that shortly after New Year. So that is League of Legends. Other games as well. We have been playing other games on Saturday. So Saturday for streaming has become like a single player stream. We've played a couple of games. We did try playing Outlast 2, but I do remember I did not feel exactly that comfortable, which hasn't been great, obviously. So I did decide to stop streaming that for the reason of that I didn't feel necessarily comfortable playing it, which is a big part. Like, yes, the game was fun, do not get me wrong, but it did leave me very uncomfortable throughout most of that stream. And I did say that a few times during the stream. And when obviously I finally finished playing it that night, I remember I wasn't exactly comfortable during the night either. So I remember deciding at the end to actually not play it anymore on stream, and maybe if I did feel like it, play it maybe off stream. But we have played some other single player games, which obviously, you know, like I've enjoyed quite a lot. Most recently, we played at Dead of Night, which has been, I believe, partially a very good success on YouTube's, because some of the YouTube shorts that I've had on there has actually been very popular. And, you know, like I think one even achieved like 3k views, I believe. Yeah, almost, yeah, 3k views, one of them. And, you know, like, and I've gotten a great amount of subs. Like, even one of the shorts even got me 10 subs, no, 12 subs within an hour, 3 hours. Which is the biggest increase that I've ever had on the channel within a small space of time. So Dead of Night was personally a big success. And I do hope the developers of that game do actually create more games like that, because it is a very interesting concept of you're inside of a hotel, you're trying to discover why the bad guy is trying to do stuff that they are doing, but also you're trying to escape from that same bad guy and not get caught. So you've got to get around this small area of space while also trying to avoid that same person that you're trying to investigate. It's a brilliant concept that I do hope, you know, comes into more games like it. You know, maybe not necessarily a hotel the next time around, but maybe inside of another type of building. Doesn't even have to be a building. Maybe it could be like a holiday resort or something. You know, like hopefully another game comes out like that. And when it does, that is something that I'm definitely going to be trying. But I can confirm now, I have decided, and it is going to be a long one because I'm going to be playing the entire series. It's not just going to be one game. So I like to try and play single player games that's still tied within horror in a way, because I do feel that that is one of the main areas towards my channel is the horror genre. So I am now confirming the next single player game for the beginning of January. This may take us right through to the summer. So what we're going to be playing next is going to be the Walking Dead Telltale series. Now, I've played all of the first one already and some of the second one, but I've never played any of the others. And I know that there is some speculation about there being more added on, but it's going to be with a different company, because the last one almost did get cancelled midway through, because how they do it is that they release each chapter one after another, so like over a set period. They never have the entire game just released all at once. They actually have it done in chapters, and that is the way that we're going to stream it, that we're actually going to have a chapter be played on stream. Typically it will take a few hours, but we are, if it's done before a few hours, the rest of it will do something else possibly. But obviously if I'm playing the whole series of The Walking Dead, this may take half the year. So that is kind of the goal, is to play the entire series, play it out on stream together, create shorts, and you know, create a journey effectively. And that is what I plan to do during next year, is try and create a journey with the Walking Dead Telltale series, and hopefully, you know, like, it will be one to remember. Obviously I am open to further suggestions as well. If you do have any suggestions for single player games that I could possibly play on stream, please do let me know. And I am always open to suggestions as well. So yeah, just let me know if you do have any open suggestions for me to possibly try out, and I'll be open to try them. So let's move away from games for a little bit, because obviously, you know, most of the time that is what I do is play games on stream. You know, sim racing is another game in itself, although some people may actually hate, I wouldn't say hate, actually, even don't like somebody for saying that sim racing is a game, because to some people sim racing isn't necessarily a game. It is literally a simulation. It's nothing like a game to some people. But let's talk about my personal life a little bit. Because obviously, for those of you that do watch my streams, obviously I do talk about myself a little bit, what's going on in my personal life, but I don't talk about it to a great extent. So I would say that, you know, I'm in a much better place now compared to what I was this time last year. So this time last year, like I would say, like I was in a good place, but I think I was, you know, still trying to work as hard as possible, you know, and I was kind of thinking at the same time that maybe, you know, I've got a job settled for life in a way, but I knew that if I was sticking at that, it wouldn't be a great amount of momentum with regards to, you know, being able to fully support myself a little bit later on in life. So that was, so I was sometimes still looking for a bigger job, especially when we had the issue with the fuel prices. So I believe it was around about April that we had a situation. Obviously, for those of you, most of you will know, obviously there is still a war going on in Ukraine, which obviously we're all hoping that you know, Ukraine, you know, we're obviously all giving support out to Ukraine. Obviously, the people are living out there, you know, as well. You know, myself in particular. Obviously, we had the fuel price hikes. Obviously, how will happen because Russia was making fuel for a large part very much either unavailable to us or making it astronomically expensive for the country to buy. And because of that, we obviously had to put the fuel prices up, which then made my job personally a lot more difficult. It became so difficult to the point where I remember talking about it on stream and actually saying that I was actually losing money by working. Now, no job should really necessarily be like that. You go to work to be paid and be able to earn an income. By me going to work, I was actually losing out. I was. So basically what I'm trying to say is basically by me working, I was losing money compared to if I wasn't working. You know, yes, I would still be losing money, but I wouldn't be losing as much. So it just became a simple factor of, well, you have to give up the job because you're actually losing more money by working, which was a very unusual thing to think about. So obviously, at the beginning of the summer, pretty much a year exactly to the day of me actually joining to be a delivery driver, I actually handed in my notice. I did in the middle of the day. And basically, I remember I was due to have a weekend break, which on that weekend would have been my final days. So when I came back, I was no longer working there. Originally, it was supposed to be a break from working because I did not have a proper break for a full year. So obviously within that, so when I came back, my first job, get a new job obviously, I ended up returning to one of my old jobs. So for those of you, well, even before I started streaming actually, so before I even started streaming, I worked for an amusement park that isn't too far away from me called Diggerland. So for those of you that may know Diggerland, it is basically an amusement park that is for basically diggers. So it's a very good amusement park for children and their families. And I remember when I was there originally, I would be the one on the actual the JCB right at the end of the park. I got asked to do that again when I did join up, which obviously I was already trained on it. I just needed a refresher before I would basically be asked to do that on my own for pretty much every single day. So I did that job throughout the entire summer. I also got asked to do a second ride. I did, which the first day, ironically, I remember it was on my birthday this year. And there's me teasingly saying to him, did you allow me to go onto a second ride and put me in training for that because it was my birthday? He didn't realise it was my birthday, by the way. So there's him feeling bad and actually thinking, why are you working on your birthday? You should have told me it was your birthday. Which, to me, especially at that time, not knowing how long I was going to be there for, I was like, well, to me, it's just another day of working. Like, I still get to spend time with my family and celebrate my birthday with my family at the end of the day. So, that is basically what we did. Was obviously, the people over at Diggerland are very, very supportive. They are, because, and they're also very hard workers. They are, like, and for those of you that are much younger, maybe in university or going to college, and you're needing a job on the side, if you have a Diggerland site, bearing in mind there's a few Diggerland sites around the country in the UK. There is, Diggerland, I would say, is a very good employer to work with. Especially when you are younger, maybe might even need, something on your CV to say this is where you've worked at. Because Diggerland is also a very good employer to work for, I would say, personally, for that reason as well. Because working at Diggerland does, it's not the easiest of jobs necessarily, but, a lot of people love the job. They do as well, especially me. So obviously the reason why I left Diggerland was to start up a kitchen porter job at a private hospital. So obviously when I got this job finally, it was actually something that I especially looked at because I was wanting to work with something within catering or, in a kitchen. So kitchen porter job was something that I thought, this would be a really good job to go for because this would be an opening for me to maybe set up as a career, maybe even become a fully trained chef, which the employer did openly say during my job interview that was something that they would be willing to do after so long if a job opening came up, that they would openly train me on site and also put me through college to become a proper chef as well. So obviously now I'm not working at the moment, so obviously you guys will know that obviously, I did unfortunately have to quit the job for medical reasons, which obviously left me a little bit saddened because, don't get me wrong, I loved the job. It was fantastic. It was one of the best jobs that I think, has ever been around. I've learned a lot personally and physically about myself through doing that job. It's not an easy job necessarily, and I was finding that out the hard way, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the people that I was working with as well was, exceptionally nice through helping me out and, just being there as human beings, and if it wasn't for the medical reason, I would be still working there right now. Unfortunately, if you guys know about me in a personal way, I severely sprained my ankle at the age of 15. I'm 30 now. I have only in the last couple of months actually asked my doctor to finally get some more checks done on my foot that was done 15 years ago. And this was only because when I severely sprained my ankle back then, they could not see the extent of my injury because there was so much inflammation at the time. So I'm hopefully going to be able to, through this year, actually have it all checked out, see what the real problem is, and see what we go from there. I have been told that if it does require surgery, I may have to learn to walk again, which obviously isn't good for what I'm wanting to do, which I'm going to go into now. I am in a much better place personally, mentally, compared to the beginning of the year. And I do plan to try and become a lot more physically active and become healthier physically as well to further improve mental health. Because I think part of the reason why my mental health can be bad at times is not necessarily mental health itself. It's all to do with my physical health. And for a number of years that has always been bad, and that has been partially due to my ankle. So obviously that is something that I do need to be careful of. And that will be something that I will need to look at as I try and become more physically active, and eating the right things as well. Another thing that I am needing to look at as well is sleeping habits. At times it has improved during the closing point of this year especially, but most of the time it's just gotten worse over time. So I am looking to make it consistent. I am throughout 2023. But obviously that obviously is a work in progress. It's gonna be a long haul on my personal life, obviously. But you know, like I know my mental health is a lot better, but it can still improve further. On top of that, the physical health, I feel like I can make it improve a lot this year, and that is going to be one of my main goals during this year. Is basically slim down the stomach quite a lot, because obviously you can't see me, I'm behind the camera, but just below me is a very large stomach, and so obviously I'll weigh a little over 100 kilograms. I do, you know, just to put that into perspective, I am quite a large person. I am, you know, like when you look at me, maybe, you know, from like just away from like the bubbled chin and all that, you know, like obviously you're seeing a lot of fat here, you know, but apart from that, you can't really see that much fat. It's because it's all in the stomach. That's literally where it all is, pretty much. So that is going to be one of my main goals during next year, is become a lot more physically active, you know. But obviously I've got to be aware that my ankle is never going to be 100% unless something gets worked on it. So that is something I need to keep an eye on. As long as it's not a big deal, I think, you know, like obviously that is going to be a journey as well in itself. Maybe even can put it onto YouTube, and that is something that I have been looking to do for a couple of years. So if I can do that, that is something I'm looking to do. So obviously my life, obviously, you know, I have set up some goals because, you know, I do like setting myself goals nowadays, because I can only improve on them, you know. And if I feel like I can't do them, I'm going to figure out why, and then basically just try and figure, like, if I can't really do it, figure out why I can't do it, and then try and improve myself in that way. So obviously, there is many people to thank. There is. I will just first of all thank, you know, you guys, YouTube communities. Obviously, you guys obviously watching this right now. So, you know, been a big help to me, obviously, as well. You know, being there. I know, obviously, I don't talk to my YouTube community that much because I don't post a great amount. And most of it has been basically, the shorts have been taken from my Twitch streams and basically edited to be put onto YouTube. YouTube is something that I do want to get a little bit more involved in. So I am going to aim to try and put out more actual YouTube videos and allow some interaction between the Twitch community and the YouTube community, and they can come together. I'm going to try and figure out a way of, you know, having the both of them come together, and then we can all be one larger community, because I know some of my Twitch followers don't subscribe to me on YouTube, and I know some YouTube viewers or YouTube subscribers don't follow me on Twitch, you know. But obviously I know both parts are there, but sometimes I know that people prefer one over the other. But I would love to obviously have everybody be part of one community, and that is why obviously, you know, I've created my Discord server. The Discord server link is down in the description below, by the way. And obviously, as well as that, like, with people being part of the Discord server, you'll obviously be able to be part of the community as a whole. I'm always contactable on Discord as well. And that is part of the reason why I use Discord quite a lot. And I am going to be a lot more active on Discord next year as well. That is going to be a big part, that is, as a whole. So, like, obviously, as well as doing my usual stuff, I'm going to be talking on there more, talking to the community as a whole a little bit more, and maybe even doing a couple of community gifts as well. I won't announce any of it, obviously, because I haven't thought of what we can do specifically as of yet, because I've not confirmed anything. I haven't got anything under ropes yet. But that is something that I would like to do, and it's something that I would like to be able to, like, you know, push forward to everybody. If they do want to become part of the community, if you want to be part of the community, you know, it'll be great to have you. You know, whether it is you're just wanting to be there around for the streams, have a fun time with us, or whether you need the comfort, you know, like, and that's another thing that I like my stream to be there for. It's for people that, you know, need somebody, you know, to be there in a bit of a troubled time, because I know I wasn't in the best of places this time 2 years ago. You know, this time 2 years ago, I was recovering. I was just starting my recovery with kidney stones, hoping that I would be able to recover from it. I did. Well, I thought I did, and it happened that then at that point I would be out of work for 6 months. So I know how, bad it can be, in certain situations, and that is kind of the reason why, I have my Twitch community and even maybe the YouTube community the way it is. It's there to help people in their time of need. So obviously, you guys have got to thank, but I want to give some personal thanks, to some content creators as well. So obviously HuzzyGames as well. I'm probably going to give my first big thanks for. He is a League of Legends content creator, does streams most days of the week, twice daily YouTube videos as well. I do not know how he keeps up with doing this for so many years now. It's fantastic what he does. But, part of him being who he is has helped me out quite a bit. It has. He's helped me become a much better League of Legends player away from coaching. Like, coaching's helped me out quite a lot, but there's some things that one side can't teach in a specific way. He's helped me understand the game a lot better, as well as the coaching, and I've used both to become as good as at League of Legends, which I'm hoping I'll be able to show in my new upcoming videos at the start of the new year and going further forward. Because Huzzy's a great League of Legends player as well himself, but he's an even better human being. There's been a couple of times where, during this year, like, I've needed somebody, and he's always been open-minded. He has. There has been some personal struggles that he's had himself, and he's helped out others over himself. And when I finally found out, actually, he was struggling at the same time as me, and he chose to help me out, I'm like, what the heck? Why are you helping out? You're helping out others above yourself. And I kind of do the same thing, I've been told. But, and I guess it's kind of like, you don't realise you're doing it, And VIcksy's another person that does the exact same thing. VIcksy's, moved away from just streaming League of Legends and Dead by Daylight. This year for her has been a big, big thing. Moving on to, content creating as a whole. She started up a YouTube channel again recently. But as well as that, she does a lot of variety streaming. And she's been streaming a lot of one particular game, Fall Guys, because she loves that so much. But, VIcksy is another content creator that, I only learned recently of, some of the things that she's had to go through in her younger days, and I just think, the reason why she helps out so many people, because she was in a rough spot herself for a while, and because she probably knows that people are going through that same thing, it's never easy, but it's all about having that someone, so you can't thank people enough, and VIcksy is another one, that I've got to thank personally. I've also talked to her quite a lot. I have off stream from time to time, and so she's been exceptionally helpful. I'll probably say another one, JaysOnIt. So obviously, I don't believe I was a mod for him at the beginning of the year. Maybe right at the end of last year, 2021. Maybe summer 2022, but not that much. I was a mod for JaysOnIt. Previously known as Manface J. He has recently changed his name to Unitech rebrand. He has, which has been great. But Jay has been somebody that I've admired quite a lot for DBD, and kind of the reason why I'd stream DBD as my main game. He's a big help for me to be able to understand the game a lot more. Which is kind of why, I feel like, I'm in that area of Dead by Daylight where, yes, I'm competitive, but I want to have fun at the same time. And he shows that he can have that as well. And he shows a great fun time for a lot of people as well. He does. But away from that, there was a couple of times, where he's helped me out, in a personal manner as well. He's explained before that, he's gone through some rough times himself. And, You know, like, and because he's explained that, it's helped me realize a lot of things that, like, you know, I've looked at myself and I've gone to myself, you know, I'm in a situation now, or I've been in that same situation, and it helps me realize that, you know, that we may all be in that type of similar manner, you know, but knowing that somebody else has been in that type of scenario, you know, has helped me out quite a lot, you know. So but yeah, Jay's been somebody that I've obviously admired quite a lot for that reason. You know, coming out quite a lot, especially this year, because I think for Jay as well, he went full time this year. He did for streaming as well, which is a big, big learning curve. And I think he's learned a huge amount about himself. And he's helped me learn a lot about myself as well. You know, so just learning about himself has helped others learn about themselves, I think, as well. You know, and it's created kind of like, you know, an improved person. And so Jay is obviously somebody I'd like to thank as well. There is one other personal thanks, and not just on a personal level. So I've had YouTube shorts now made for, you know, properly now for about a couple of months now. Well, actually, even before November, so 3 months actually now, think about it. Which I've always said to everybody, if you're watching shorts, you will know that I've had a very good friend of mine by the name of Chapperz create all of my shorts. So as well as being helpful on a personal level, he's also helped me actually grow my YouTube channel quite a bit. And I don't think he quite realizes how big of a thing he has done for me on my YouTube channel, which has also helped out my Twitch channel as well, because I believe some of the Twitch followers have come from YouTube as well. You know, so I can't thank Chapperz enough for that. He's even recommended me making a TikTok account he has, and personally I've never really liked TikTok, but I have obviously you know, been on Hover now for a while, but I've not used it for a long time because I don't actively do much on there anymore, unfortunately, ever since somebody left the job of being I believe like one of the main managers there, which is unfortunate. But I am possibly planning on starting up a TikTok early this year. So some of the clips that you will see go onto TikTok will be some of my older clips that have come through within the last few months. Chapperz makes all of my YouTube shorts very much affordable and does a great value for money and great piece of editing on all of them. He has, like, some of the shorts have been so outstanding, and if I ask him if he could do something in particular, he will do it, you know. And it's great of what he actually does do for me on a personal level. So I cannot thank Chapperz enough for all of that. He's been possibly one of the biggest helps out of them all, but I think it's because it's not just on a personal level that he's helped me. It's also been on the YouTube front that he's helped me grow my YouTube channel. And personally, I would say that Chapperz has been the biggest reason why my YouTube subs have gone up through the roof of the way that they have. Just in the space of a few months, it's literally just grown over 30 subscribers, you know, in the space of a few months, which to me is quite large. That is, you know, like only being a few subs away from 100 is a big achievement. And, you know, there will be something that I will be looking to do. Like, we even did a stream together we did just before Christmas, you know, which is great. We had an absolute laugh. There will be some shorts that will be coming out from that stream, by the way. I've still not even edited them off because obviously I'll be just celebrating Christmas with my family and just playing some games with others as well. So that will be something that will be edited up, and I will be putting up some of the best moments from that shortly after New Year. There is a couple of shorts already ready for the New Year. Yeah, because some of the shorts, like I've done a short every day for over a space of 2 weeks. I have as well, which obviously typically I only do 2 YouTube shorts a week. I do. Maybe I can increase it, depending on, you know, like how everything looks. So that is going to be it for me. I've been recording for a little over an hour, which is quite a long video. So if you have reached the end of this video, thank you ever so much, all of you guys, for watching, and thank you all for the amazing support. You know, this is a very long-winded video because most of it is me rambling, obviously, about my year as a whole. But I cannot thank you guys enough for all of your support. You do mean the world to me. You really do. So 2023 is going to be a load of new goals, a lot of new challenges throughout the year, not just March. Talking about my March challenges that I'm doing again this year. But I do hope you're able to be a part of the community further. I am going to be looking to stream quite frequently throughout the year. Maybe we'll even increase the amount of streams that we do during the year compared to now. You know, but obviously if you're not following my YouTube, my Twitch yet, please do go ahead and follow me on Twitch as well. The link for my Twitch channel is down in the description below for you as well. And if I have created a TikTok recently as well, there'll be a link for that down in the description below as well. So, and also personal thanks obviously the four that I have mentioned as well. All the links for their Twitches and YouTubes will be in the description below for you as well. But otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. Obviously, have a grateful new year, and hope the rest of your evening goes well as well. So otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everybody.